The UK government apologized to Queen Elizabeth after revelations that Prime Minister Boris Johnson's staff broke coronavirus restrictions by partying on the eve of Prince Philip's funeral. Government guidance at that time outlawed socializing except with your household or support bubble. And that saw thousands of families unable to visit loved ones who were sick or dying with COVID or even attend their funerals. Nicole Salenga for this report.
The UK government apologized Friday to Queen Elizabeth II after revelations Prime Minister Boris Johnson's staff broke coronavirus restrictions by partying on the eve of Prince Philip's funeral. It is deeply regrettable that this took place at a time of national mourning, and number 10 Downing Street has apologized to the palace, Johnson's spokesman told reporters. The message to the 95-year-old head of state is understood to have been sent through official channels by telephone and not personally sent by Johnson, who is under growing pressure to quit after a slew of similar allegations. He has so far tried to weather the storm of public and political outrage, apologizing in Parliament this week for attending one of the gatherings in May 2020, but insisting it was a work event.
Number 10 is a big department with the garden as an extension of the office, which has been in constant use because of the role of fresh air in stopping the virus. And when I went into that garden just after 6 on the 20th of May 2020 to thank groups of staff before going back into my office 25 minutes later to continue working, I believed implicitly that this was a work event. With hindsight, I should have sent everyone back inside. I should have found some other way to thank them. And to them and to this House, I offer my heartfelt apologies.
Although Johnson was not at either of two Downing Street parties nearly a year later, on April 16, 2021, as the Queen prepared to bury her husband of 73 years, it takes the scandal to another level, chipping away further at Johnson's authority. Prince Philip's funeral at Windsor Castle was limited to just 30 guests due to government COVID rules, forcing the Queen to sit alone in a church pew to mourn. A similar number of Johnson's staff held separate parties just hours earlier. Johnson, who is currently isolating due to a close family member contracting coronavirus, was at his official country residence at the time, his spokesman said. He declined to say whether Johnson had been aware of the parties, insisting an internal probe must establish all the facts around the various partygate claims. All three main opposition parties have demanded Johnson's resignation.
When we collectively asked the nation to act in a particular way, it was very important that we acted in the same way as the rest of the nation. What we've now got to a situation where you've got a Prime Minister who has lost the moral authority to lead. And just when you need, because we're not out of the pandemic, a government that has that moral authority to lead, we've lost it with this Prime Minister. But we've got other massive challenges facing this country, massive challenges. We've got a Prime Minister who is absent, he's literally in hiding at the moment, and unable to lead. And so that's why I've concluded that he's got to go. And of course there's a party advantage in him going, but actually it's now in the national interest that he goes. So it's very important now that the Tory party does what it needs to do and gets rid of him.
5 of his own Conservative MPs have publicly called for him to quit. Most cabinet members have rallied around the Prime Minister, but the backing from potential successors, such as Finance Minister Rishi Sunak, has been distinctly lukewarm. Government guidance at the time outlawed socializing except with your household or support bubble. That saw thousands of families unable to visit loved ones who were sick or dying with COVID, or even attend their funerals. Voters in Johnson's Northwest London constituency were largely unsympathetic. One voter told AFP that he thinks Johnson should resign because he let people down, particularly people who in some way have suffered through this COVID. Nationwide, Johnson's poll ratings have nosedived since the allegations emerged last month. Reporting from London, United Kingdom, I am Nicole Salenga. We live in interesting times.